Awesome. Um, One thing that I've seen in my life a lot, and I've seen it in my relationships, especially in college, I've seen young guys and young ladies date somebody else and be committed to a dating relationship, and sooner or later, that relationship goes downhill. Has anyone ever seen that before? Has anyone ever? Yeah, I know a couple of you have. I've seen people start dating, and I've seen people deal with problems because they allowed certain people into their vulnerable places. They allowed certain people to the vulnerable parts of their life. Guys, you're allowing women, I'm speaking to the guys right now. Guys, you're allowing certain women in your life to come and ruin the place for your wife. Women, you're allowing certain guys in your life who are only bringing pain into your life, who are only bringing destruction into your life. And again, this is what I want to talk about, because it's serious. Because if the church doesn't speak about it, then who else? Right? So again, how do you find the right person in a relationship? When I think about dating in today's world, I think about this popular toy that was really popular in my childhood. It's on the screen. Twisty Worm. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Has anyone ever seen that? Shout out, bro. Hey, it was all over the TV. It was all over, what was that commercial? What's on TV? Something like that. TV, something. But Twisty Worm, this was a really, really popular toy when I was growing up. Right? I remember I was sitting down with my brother the very first time, and we were watching a TV commercial. And the TV commercial, there's usually this guy, he comes up on the TV commercial, and he has this Twisty Worm toy. And he's like doing all these cool tricks with it, and it's going through his fingers. He tells the worm to jump, and it jumps, and he puts it on the table, and it comes back to him. I'm like, dude, I want to have that. I was like, this is the first toy that comes to life. So I go to, my mom and we go to Walmart, and again, it was really popular, and it was on the shelves. And I remember grabbing one. It was just like that, all the different colors. And I grabbed one and said, hey, Mom, can I get this one? Can I take it home? We bought it. It was, it was like $20 back then. And I bought it. I know, it was expensive, bro. They made the money like that. $20, I bought it. And then I went home, I opened it, and then I put the toy worm on my hand. And then I was like trying to make it jump, and I was trying to make it do all these cool tricks. And it didn't work. And I go back to the package and I look at the instructions. On the instructions, there was a little bag taped with a little thin string. And that little thin string, the instructions were you had to put it on the nose. And you couldn't see the thin string, right? You can't see it on TV. Nobody else except you who has it can see it. And then I started playing with it. And like every kid, you get a toy for a kid, or you as a kid can probably remember, you get your favorite toy and you start playing for an hour and you throw it to the side. Right? I grabbed the toy and I was like, oh, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I'm doing the tricks, but it wasn't what I expected. You see, when I think about that, I think about how a lot of us do dating or see dating. We see this attractive thing, we see this attractive person, but we notice that there's strings attached to this person. You notice that it was nothing that you thought it was. You notice that these relationships that you got into, you saw it from the outside. Now that you're in it, it's not who he is or who she is. It's not the real her. It's not the real him. Right? So how do you find the right person in a relationship? You can take that picture down, Parker, thanks. How do you find the right person in a relationship? Proverbs chapter 25, verse 24. Let's turn there together. Proverbs chapter 25, verse 24. Look at this. Read this. It is better to live in a corner of the roof than in a house shared with a contentious woman. It is better to live in a corner of the roof than in a house shared with a contentious woman. This is not only directed to the woman. This is also to the men. What this is applying to, this applies to a husband and to a wife. So this is the thing. When we're talking about dating, true dating, is always, the goal of dating is always to end up in marriage. That's true dating. When you're in a relationship with another person and you're dating that person, your goal should be to marry that person. That is what true dating is. Today we're going to see about a story about a man who did not pick the right person. Who picked a person based off of attraction. How attractive they were. Based off of looks. So if you can turn to Judges chapter 14, verses 1 through 20. It's 20 verses. Oh Lord, it's 20 verses. Judges chapter 14, verses 1 through 20. This is a really good story, and a lot of you are going to benefit from this. Look at this story. Then Samson went down to Timnah and saw a woman in Timnah, one of the daughters of the Philistines. So he came back and told his father and mother, I saw a woman in Timnah, one of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore, get her for me as a wife. He's so bossy. Hey, mom and dad, go get that girl for me. Then his father and his mother said to him, is there no woman among the daughters of your relatives or among all our people that you go take a wife from the uncircumcised Philistines? But Samson said to his father, get her for me, for she looks good to me. However, his father and mother did not know that it was of the Lord, for he was seeking an occasion against the Philistines. Now at the time, the Philistines were ruling over Israel. So basically what happened, Samson, he goes down, he sees this beautiful lady. And he knows that this lady's a Philistine. What does that mean? That's a very important part. One of the things that God called the Israelites, what he told the Israelites not to do was to be in a covenant marriage relationship with anybody outside the Israelites. So he was enticed, he was attracted to a person he shouldn't have been. All right? And then it says in verse 4, however, his father and mother did not know that it was of the Lord. Was this God's plan? No. What this means, it means God's sovereignty doesn't mean God's approval. God allows you to choose whoever you want to date. That doesn't mean that God makes it right and says it's correct. And we'll hit on that point in a little bit. Let's continue reading. Verse 5, then Samson went down to Timnah with his father and mother, and came as far as the vineyards of Timnah. And behold, a young lion came roaring toward him, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon him mightily, so that he tore him as one tears a kid, though he had nothing in his hands. But he did not tell his father or mother what he had done. So he went down and talked to the woman, and she looked good to Samson. She still looks good to Samson. When he returned later to take her, he turned aside to look at the carcass of the lion, and behold, a swarm of bees and honey were in the body of the lion. So he scraped the honey into his hands and went on eating as he went. And when he came to his father and mother, he gave some to them, and they ate it. But he did not tell them that he had scraped the honey out of the body of the lion. Verse 10, then his father went down to the woman, and Samson made a feast there, for the young men customarily did this. And it came about when they saw him that they brought 30 companions to be with him. This next part is very, very important. And a lot of you are living in it. Pay very close attention to these next verses. Then Samson said to them, let me now propound a riddle to you. If you will indeed tell it to me within the 7 days of the feast and find it out, then I will give you 30 linen wraps and 30 changes of clothes. But if you're unable to tell me, then you shall give me 30 linen wraps and 30 changes of clothes. And they said to him, propound your riddle that we may hear it. So he's making a bet. He's making a riddle. So he said to them, out of the eater came something to eat, and out of the strong came something sweet. But they could not tell the riddle in 3 days. Then it came about on the 4th day that they said to Samson's wife, the girl he was looking at that he said was really good, he married her, entice your husband that he may tell us the riddle, lest we burn you and your father's house with fire. Have you invited us to impoverish us? Is this not so? And Samson's wife wept before him and said, "You only hate me and do not love me. You have propounded a riddle to the sons of my people and have not told it to me." And he said to her, "Behold, I have not told it to my father or my mother, so should I tell you?" He said, "I haven't even told my mom or dad. Why should I tell you?" However, she wept before him 7 days while the feast lasted. And it came about on the 7th day that he told her, because she pressed him so hard. She then told the riddle to the sons of her people. So the men of the city said to him on the 7th day before the sun went down, "What is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion?" And he said to them, "If you not have plowed my heifer, you would have not found out my riddle. If you have not enticed my wife, you would have not found my riddle." Then the Spirit of the Lord came upon him mightily, and he went down to Ashkelon and killed 30 of them and took their spoil and gave the changes of clothes to those who told the riddle. And his anger burned, and he went up to his father's house. But look at this part. But Samson's wife was given to his companion, who had been his best friend, his friend. So all this story, Samson was struck with 30 people at his wedding, at this feast, his in-laws. They were all brought up to the party. He gives them a riddle. "Hey, I'm going to give you a riddle, an impossible riddle." Right? And since the guys, they couldn't solve it, what they did, they threatened his wife, Samson's wife, to give him the answer. They threatened him. "Hey, we're going to burn your house. We're going to burn you. We're going to burn your dad." So Samson's wife, she was nagging Samson. She was lying to Samson. She manipulated Samson, saying, "You don't love me, you don't love me," all this. And she ultimately chose the loyalty of her in-laws instead of her loyalty of her husband. She chose the loyalty of other people. So after this, finally giving in, Samson gives this riddle to his wife. His wife goes behind his back, tells her in-laws, "Hey, this is what the riddle is." He loses the bet. He loses the girl that he really liked. There's red flags all throughout this. But you see, this whole situation happened because Samson wanted to feed his feelings. He wanted to feed his feelings with someone that looked good but wasn't healthy. He wanted to feed his feelings with this temporary thing. He saw something. He's like, "I have to have it." Again, God's sovereignty. We have a choice. We can pick whoever we want to be in a relationship. We can choose the people in our life. We can choose to date those people. But don't be surprised if consequences come to your life. Just because God allows you to date somebody doesn't mean that that's God's person for your life. And don't be surprised when there's consequences in your life. And you might find yourself in this story. When you're not with the right person, there's red flags everywhere, and you know it. There's things that this person does that's not honoring to God. They're incredible, and they incredibly start arguments. They're quarrelsome. That's the biblical word. They start arguments. They're manipulators. They're liars. They bring you to sin. You can probably think about it. It's not only for a romantic relationship. This is for friendships. I mean, simply put, when we date the wrong person, everything goes wrong. And we have to learn from Samson's mistake. Don't chase after the wrong people. Guys, don't chase after the girls who are only posting for social media. Girls, don't chase the guys who are just trying to use you for you. Date the right godly person. The right godly person. Many of us are in relationships and friendships that we shouldn't be in. Many of us are dating somebody that we know is not good for us. I get this question asked a lot, and a lot of you have asked me, can a Christian date a non-Christian? You can do whatever you want in this life. You have free will. You can. I think a better question is it okay for a Christian to date a non-Christian? And I'm going to answer this biblically. No, it's not. And the reason why, we can see it in 2 Corinthians. Turn to 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Do not be bound together with unbelievers, for what partnership have righteousness and lawlessness? Or what fellowship has light with darkness? It's not okay to be if you're a Christian and you're dating somebody who is not a Christian, it's not okay. It's not right. Oh, I can change them. I can bring them to the Lord. If that person turns to the Lord just because you're telling them, that's a red flag. If you're in a relationship before that person becomes a Christian, you're prioritizing the dating relationship before you're prioritizing their relationship with the Lord. Right? If God is the king of your life, why would you want to spend your life with someone who doesn't see him as king? Guys, if God is the king of your life, why would you want your wife to raise your kids who she doesn't even know who King Jesus is? Ladies, if God is the king of your life, why would you want to date or marry a guy who doesn't even know who Jesus is? Or how do you expect him to lead you to Christ? Think about that. If God is the king of your life, why would you want to spend your life with someone who doesn't see him as king? You see, one of the reasons why I believe that happens a lot, I'm going to get my whiteboard, is, I got markers. I don't need your marker, bro. It's like fifth time, bro. One of the things that I see that happens a lot, especially in the high school realm, and other people have a different way to do this, and I learned this in school. I think this is the most simplest way. When you think about relationships, there's three spheres, we can say. There's three spheres. And right here in the middle, we're going to put faith. Matter of fact, we're going to put heart. Right here on the outside, we're going to put physical. Is that how you spell physical? That was right. Sorry. Jesus. Right here, we're going to put feelings. Bro's trying to put me on the spot. I have dyslexia. Anyways, hey, sorry. Physical, feelings, heart. You see, a lot of you, when you look at dating, you look at the physical. If I'm going to be in a relationship with somebody else, it has to be physical. This person has to be physical. It can turn into, kissing. It can turn into holding hands. It can turn into sex. It has to be physical. And you're in a physical relationship, and then it turns into this feeling. You're like, I actually like this person. I love this person. And a lot of times, it ends there. A matter of fact, in relationships, a lot of times I've seen it and I've counseled people. Physical feelings, and it turns into heart, and you're sitting with a married couple in a seat, and you're sitting across from them, and you're hearing their heart, and you're hearing one person, this person's heart is broken, this person's heart doesn't know the Lord, this person's heart is sinful. Right? A lot of us, what Satan wants for us is this. He doesn't want us to know the heart of somebody else when we're trying to find that dating relationship. My piece of advice for anybody who want to start dating, the very first thing, it's not physical, it's not feelings, is look at their heart. Yeah, get to know the person. But the main question that you should always ask is, who is King Jesus to you? Tell me about your faith. Right there and then you will know. You will know if it's a red flag or you know it's a green flag. Right? If you see it, you're sitting across somebody and say, I love King Jesus. He's the king of my life. He comes before you. Head over heels, huh? And you start dating this person. You start feeling feelings, because I'm not saying you're not going to feel feelings. You actually you love this person. You care about this person. What about the physical? Oh, the physical happens in the next step, which is marriage. You get to experience what God designed marriage to be, man and woman. You get to experience what is sex in a marriage covenant. We see so many people broken because they just start sleeping with each other and start doing all these things. I'm sorry if this is shock. I feel comfortable speaking about it up here. Right? But that's what it is. You see, a lot of times what's happening, we have her and we have him in a relationship is this. And that's not how it is. A relationship, mind that, is this. I'm pursuing the Lord King Jesus with all my heart, and I love Him above everything else. I'm not in a marriage responsibility. I'm not in a marriage covenant. If I wasn't dating, if I wasn't married, I'm not in a marriage covenant. I'm pursuing King Jesus. She's pursuing King Jesus more than anything. And you're getting to realize what true love is. You're getting to find out what the true gospel is. But a lot of us stop here. A lot of us stop with the physical and the feelings and never know the heart of the person. Again, right, that's what I would give to you, the first advice. Where is their heart at? Who is the king of their lives? Is it themselves? Is it you? Or is it King Jesus? Not just in dating relationship, but even in our friendships, we can ask ourselves by this verse, by asking ourselves, how can light live with darkness? When we find relationships, romantic or not, that honor God and help us walk in the light. We have to find those relationships. You can't change the other person if they're not a Christian. The Holy Spirit can only change them. A lot of you have to reevaluate your dating relationships, and thank God you do. A lot of you have to put Jesus on the pedestal and stop putting your boyfriend or your girlfriend on it. A lot of you need to break up. And I've seen it, and I've talked to you. A lot of you should be focusing on your relationship with the Lord more than you focus on your relationship with your boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm sorry if this hurts your feelings. I really do. I'm not here to preach to your feelings. I'm here to preach to your soul. So you have to understand that. There's a reason why God says the things He says. And He tells us the things He tells us. It's not a right and wrong book. It's a what works and what doesn't work. So you have to look at it like that. Many of you, you're guilty right now. You're probably thinking in your head, you're guilty of being in unhealthy relationships because you desire to have something good that wasn't really good. Maybe you're dating somebody right now. Maybe you're in a relationship that you shouldn't be. Whatever it is, wherever you're at, come into the light and live with God to receive His blessings in your relationship. Come into the light.